Hi everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at importing. Importing is when you get code from somewhere else, like of another file, another project, an online repository, or one of the core modules of Python such as time, random, and math. First off, we're going to be taking a look at importing from another file, which is really useful when you want to keep your code organized and when you have a lot of code. When you're working on big, complex projects, there's usually code spanning thousands of lines. It's really confusing if you have it all in one file and you had to keep scrolling to find that one mistake or one place where you want to fix something. Instead, if you have everything segregated into different files, it's a lot easier to access and a lot easier to use as well. The way we're going to do this is by first creating a new file. I'm going to call it extra.py. And inside of here, you can create whatever you want, but I'm going to create a function called do something. This can work for any other function or any other attribute as well, so feel free to experiment. But for this purpose, I'm just going to create a simple function that just prints something. In a real world example, it should be a lot more complex. I don't know, this is really simple. Maybe I should do like something else. Okay, just to make it a bit more complex. Sure, why not? And here in main.py, if I want to reference that function and use it, all I would need to do is type out import and then the name of that file. Whenever you're importing something, it's known as a module. And then I can actually just use that function by typing out extra and then adding a dot / a period and then typing out the name of that function. In this case, it prints out everything that was part of the function, so we know our function has successfully worked. You can do this with other attributes as well. Say I have something like extra equals, no, that's not a good name, b equals 30. So in main.py, if I wanted to use that, I could by doing print extra.b, and that would work. As you can see at the bottom, there's 30. So any code that you have in extra, such as variables or functions, can all be accessed in main.py simply by importing. The next example of importing we're going to be taking a look at is modules. We've already looked at modules in the past with random, but let's go a bit more in depth. For example, if we want to use random, there's two really popular functions as part of random that many people frequently use. First is randint, which we can do as such, type out random and then randint, just the same way we did when we were importing extra functions. And for randint, basically it gets you a random integer, and you have to define a starting index and an ending index, so 1 through 100. And if I were to print, it prints out a random number each time I run the program. And the other really popular function that's part of random is random.choice. It works really well with arrays where it gives you a random item as part of that array. So I have like a simple shopping list sort of array here. And I totally misplaced this bracket, but say I wanted to get that random item though, all I would have to do, I'm typing this wrong, so yeah, all I'd have to do is type out random.choice and then input that array that we created earlier, and if I were to run this, I'm going to get a different item that's part of the array each time I run the program. The next module we're going to be taking a look at is math. Math is very useful for computational and algorithmic programs. There's a lot of functions and a lot of attributes within math that you can use. You can easily see all of the functions and attributes within math just by typing out math and the dot. So it has a lot of useful ones. Say I want to do like factorial, I can. gets the right result. I can do the same thing by like typing out pi using the mat module. That works as well. And lastly, we're going to take a look at time. Time is also very useful in programs that have more utility use case. All we would need to do to get time would be something like and this one's a bit more complex because it actually gets the time in seconds since epoch. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Epoch is like when time started for the first time ever on systems like Unix systems. So if I were to print this, it's gonna be like really big. But if I were to print this and that didn't work, oh, I messed up. I have to make sure that's a function. There has to be the parentheses. But if I run this, I'm gonna get a pretty big number. That's the number of seconds that have passed since epoch. But if we want to make this a bit more user friendly, we can do so. All we would need to do is let's create like a variable called local. But what we would need to do is do time.ctime, which is another function, and we can pass in the seconds variable that we've created. And instead of printing seconds, if we print local, we're gonna get the time in our current area. I'm pretty sure, or not. I think it should be like UTC or something, but we do get the time in a more readable format. There's also some other cool things you can do with time, which I'm going to explore really quickly, such as sleep. Say I have hello world right here, and then I want to create a bit of a delay. I could do time.sleep for 3 seconds, let's say, and then print something else. Delayed, I don't know. So if I were to run this, we get hello world, and then it takes a few seconds, and then it prints delayed. So our function successfully worked. And that's about it for this workshop lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. This is all importing, and I think that should be enough to set you up for using these modules and importing other files in your future programs. Bye.